Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial of Salesforce Makes Sense, and in this video we'll continue our Lightning Web Components masterclass and understand notifications and navigation. Alright, that's the next module. We'll start off with notifications. And what are notifications? You could probably receive an SMS, an email, a phone call, a push notification, any kind of notification, right? But when it comes to LWC, Lightning Web Components, the straightforward way for you to actually do any kind of notification is using toast messages. Now, what are toast messages? Let me quickly show that to you. If I were to go to Salesforce and if I go into, let's say, accounts, right? I open this page, I click on the new button here, I create, let's say, a business account, and I'll just say Salesforce Makes Sense, right? Rating is hot and subcategory is asylum, fine. Let's say save. So as soon as I save, you see this particular bar that shows up a message that account has been created. This is called a toast, and it kind of vanished in front of you. But it is a very good identifier of understanding, oh, something good happened, because it was in green. It said that, it is created. So you understood, okay, whatever I was expecting the system to do, the system has done that. Now that is native capability from Salesforce. How do we actually incorporate that in our use case or our LWC component is the question. Okay, for those of you who already know how to use toasts because you have written Aura components, amazing. But let's look at how to do that on LWC side. All right, so toast messages, you can use toast messages to basically alert, prompt, or inform the user of any kind of errors, warnings, or successes. So it's not about just showing the happy path, right? It's also about prompting the user with a warning or maybe even a red error, right? As part of their current transaction with LWC. So if something is going wrong, you might want to show a red toast, right? If you want to do a warning, you could do an orange or an amber color. If you want to do a success, you could use a green color. All right, so it is a very simple and effective way to communicate to the end user of what's happening behind the scenes and what can they understand from it. All right, you can use lightning/toast with the show method to show and display toasts, or else you can also use another module that's called lightning/platform show toast event, but this is mostly not available in Experience Builder site and pages. So we are going to go ahead and use this platform show toast event. We'll look at the documentation for it as well. And the only limitation with this is basically this: if you use it on your LWC, and let's say you are using that LWC component for any kind of a portal, Experience Cloud portal, your toast component will not work. Okay, your toast module will not work because it is not compatible with the Experience Cloud sites and pages. You might have to go back to the lightning/toast concept. We'll look at what it is and how it is. Okay. All right, let's jump into Salesforce, and I want to go to VS Code first, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a record. Exactly how you had the record of account, we'll just create that ourselves. I'll just go ahead and say create Lightning Web Component, and I'm going to say create record, or let's just do toast example. Okay, toast display, that's it. All right, and the use case around here is basically I'll just expect user to enter a name, and I'll just save it as an account. Very simple, plain use case. I just want to show you how to basically use the toast. Okay, but we are not going to use any kind of UI record APIs. We are actually going to do an imperative call to Salesforce database and get the results, and based on the result we'll show a toast. Okay, so that you understand how to use it and where to use it. Cool. So I'll go back and do the basics. This is exposed true. I'll just define my target configs. So targets, and then inside targets, my first target was basically be Lightning homepage. All right, let's go ahead and say deploy. And now on the HTML side, what I want to do is I simply want to have a Lightning card, and I just want the user to create an account with a name. All right, so when I want the user to create an account, I have to use a Lightning input field, right? So that they can put an input. So I'll just put type text. All right, value, I'll just map it to a value field. All right, should be fine. Save. Do I want a label? I'll just put a label, and I'll just say account name. So far so good. Let's go ahead and say deploy, and let's drag and drop it in our homepage. The meta has the true exposure, and it is for the Lightning homepage. Let's go back to Salesforce, refresh the page, and I'm going to click on setup and edit page. For those of you who have been following, it's already been about 80 chapters of LWC. I hope a good amount of learning has been done and another few tutorials coming up. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, now let's look at toast display. It's showing up here. Perfect. Let's get this guy here. I have a header and I have account name. Perfect. Showing up fine. Let's go say save. It will say changes saved. I'll go back. And here I already noticed that, there is some padding that it needs. So I'm just going to bring that in. SLDS margin around medium. All right. So that's that. I'll say deploy again. And I have the account name. I can type in my account name and there's nothing that I can do with it right now. I need a button for it, correct? So I'm going to go ahead and create a button next, so that when I click on it, an action is triggered and that action creates a record in Salesforce. So the label is going to be create. All right, on click of which I want to do something. So I'll say handle account creation. Perfect. I'll close my lightning button. There should be a space here, and yeah, the button is closed. All right, and I know that there's a field called variant. If I put a variant, I can say brand, outline, or anything. Brand will basically create a blue color button. Okay, if you don't know it, look at the documentation of the lightning button. Don't have to type everything out. Okay, you can actually just look at it, copy it from there, use it. As long as you understand what you're doing, I don't have any problems. Okay, now what have I done on the HTML side? I've actually defined a variable. I'm going to go ahead and put this variable here, and I've defined a function. That function has to be created. All right, so far so good. I just want to see if this function is able to get the name. Perfect. Let's say deploy. For those of you who think, why is Himanshu talking so fast? This is regular stuff that we have been doing for last 20-25 tutorials. We kind of know what we are doing, and this tutorial is primarily to understand toast messages. So I'm kind of rushing into it, but yeah, parallelly keeping the commentary on. All right, great. I'll refresh my page. Not much has been done, but yeah, we should see some spacing showing up. Yeah, the create button is still on the side. It kind of pricks my eye. So what I'll do is I'll get this out, create a div, add a class, so that both my elements inside the div get this spacing, and I close my div after these two elements. Okay, what is the issue here? There's one extra quote here, so now it is fine. Class is also doubled. Yeah, fine. Perfect. Great. The button is here, but if I were to look at the functionality, if I go to the console, and let's go back to the console, clear everything out, and I'll say SMS, and I click on create. There's something that's called undefined. Okay, it's showing undefined, meaning my variable does not have a value. Now I'll let you guys think what is the issue while I deploy this change. What is it that I missed out? Why is the account name not holding the value that I'm trying to print here? Think about it. So I've not written a handle input change method, correct? That's the reason. So what I have to do is I have to have one more method that whenever someone changes the value here, that should basically be mapped to some variable. Salesforce cannot automatically understand, no? So I'll say handle name change, and then I'll just pick this method, create it here, and because it is an input field, I have a event object available with me. This event object contains detail dot value. I can simply say this dot account name is equal to whatever is in event.detail.value, store it. And now when I click the button, this method will be called and I should see the name showing up. Let's quickly test it out. Deployed, refresh. SMS. All right, so the name is showing up and the value is now bound to the variable and it's available on the button click also. Now that we have the button click, what is it that we want to do? This is my input method. I'll just move this guy up, and then this is my button click. In the button click, I want to call Apex, create an account. Once created, come back here and show the user a success message. That's what I want to do. Out of this, you already know this part. So for those of you who want to pause the video here and try it on your own, try to write an imperative call to Apex, get an account created with this account name, and then come back here and just, print on the console log that account is created. And then I'll talk you through the toast message. For those of you who want to follow along, let's look at it. So now that I want to call Apex, I have to have an Apex class. I'll say toast controller. All right, what is this Apex class for? It is essentially for creating a account. Okay, I'll say create account with name, meaning it has a parameter that's called string account name, and all I need to do is insert new account, where name is equal to whatever is the value. All right, fine. Let's go ahead and try to say deploy. Let's see if the Apex class is fine. There's a colon extra here. You don't need the binding. I'll just remove it. This account name is mapped here. I'll say deploy. Deployed fine. All right. So my toast controller is created. And now that I have this here, what do I need to do? I need to use it here in my imperative call. Now, if I have to use my Apex method, what do I have to do? What are the steps that I told you? We have to call the method here, but calling the method won't suffice. First, you have to import it. You have to import it in Salesforce on LWC. From where do you import it? Who has the Apex class? It is in the Salesforce module under the Apex module. Toast controller has the method that I need, and the method is called create account with name. So this is the reference of it, and I'm going to use the reference here. Okay, inside my button click, once I have this account name, I'm going to call my method, and this is the imperative call that I'm doing. All right, what do I want to pass here? I want to pass my parameter. The parameter is account name. Now it is a key value pair. So I'll open my curly braces. I'll say account name is equal to this dot account name. So this dot account name is nothing but the actual value that is currently being held by the input field that's here. So far so good, nothing fancy. Okay, now once you do the call, then something happens. What happens? Basically the callback comes up, right? So once that callback comes up, you can actually deal with it. Either a callback will come or you will catch an exception, correct? So when you catch an exception, you might have an error object available with you, right? That error object can basically be handled, and you can have it here. That's basically your syntax. All right, cool. Now, once you do the imperative call, you will receive result here if all good, and if there's something wrong, you will receive error here, correct? The error object will be invoked. All right, now if everything goes wrong in my method, I'll simply say console.log account created. So far we know this, right? For those of you who know what had to be done, you have been able to understand this. And if I receive an error, I'll get console.log error, and I can simply take my error.body.message. This is my error object, and I'm just exploiting it and looking at the body.message to get the exact error. All right, let's say deploy. I'll get rid of this method line, get rid of the comments. All right, and when I deploy, my other prerequisite is pending. So my import has been done, but the method is not visible, and it says unable to find Apex action. That's because the second prerequisite is not done. We just talked about it in our previous tutorial that for any kind of call, you have to have the aura enabled annotation on your method so that LWC knows, okay, this Apex class method is available for use. Makes sense? Okay, now let's try to deploy this. Deployed. Now let's go back, refresh our page, and on the console we will be able to notice whether a successful account has been created or not. So I'm going to say Salesforce makes sense and say create. So you see, account created message has come up, and if I look at this particular record in another tab, right? Just to check whether actually an account is created or not. Let's verify. You'll see that an account is created. Now there's a lot of them, so let me do this. Let's say Brian Delta. Okay, create account created. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to pull in Brian Delta. So you see this account is created just now. All right, so this is how your account is getting created through the imperative call, and all looks good. The only thing is that the user has to look at the inspect log on the console to see whether what has happened, but that's not a good UI experience. You need to give them a good prompt like Salesforce does. That's where toasts come in. So the whole last 10 minutes have been about, what we already know, but now we are going to look at how to show a toast. All right, so to show a toast, I'm going to look at lightning/platform show toast event. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Show toast event. This is what we want to use. All right, let's look at this particular event. What you can do is you can either pick up an example from some of the online document, or you can always go to the Salesforce document that has a detailed explanation. All right, so if you notice, what they have said is that, first of all, you have to import it. Anything that you need to use from Salesforce LWC modules, you have to import it. I'm going to import this line. What this will do is this will enable us to actually use the show toast event. So this show toast event is a standard event available in this library that is being used here. All right, and you have this method that's called show toast. All right, I'll just copy this code, and this code I'll just put it here. What is this code? Let's try to understand it. Okay, I've copied it, right? But we have to understand. Okay, so this is a method. See, we also created a method. This is also a method. Same thing, nothing fancy. Here there's an event that's created. Event, that's the name, and it is called new show toast event. Remember, we also created custom events. It's the same thing here. It's just that it is an event that is given to us from platform show toast event. From this library, I have an event called show toast event, and I'm using it. When I use it, I have options to set certain attributes, and those attributes I can set here. All right, I have set the title, I've set the message, and as soon as my event is ready, I'm dispatching it so that it is fired. As soon as it is fired, it is going to create a toast message on the top of your panel. Cool. So the title here is going to be success, and the message will basically be your record is successfully created, and save. I'm going to go ahead and say deploy. If there's any error, we'll get that error here on the compilation. If there's any error on the runtime, we'll get it on the log here. Okay, so all looks good. The toast message should come. What do you guys think? Should it come or should it not? I'll go ahead and say Brian again, and I say create. The record is created, but there's no toast. Why? Because I have not really invoked the method. The method has to be invoked. Whenever the imperative call comes back with the result of account created, meaning it comes in the then clause, I can actually invoke my toast method from here, and that's how you do it. As simple as that, right? I'm going to go ahead and say now deploy, and I've called my show toast method from the then clause, meaning whenever the imperative apex comes back with a created account, then only I want to show the toast. Let's see what happens. This time I'm going to refresh, close my console because that's not for the end users, and I'm going to say Salesforce really made sense. Create. And if you notice, you have been able to create a record without opening the console. The user is able to see that it is success and the record is created. Amazing. But what did you notice about it? You noticed that it actually went away on its own. That's one. The second thing is the color was gray. It was not green. So how do I get a green color? And that's where you'll have to come back to your documentation. So if I look at variants, right? Or let's say I can look at variant or success, or let's say, green. Is green available? No. So success is here. So variant is a thing that you can actually pass to your show toast event. Remember these parameters that we're passing, title and message, you can actually pass a variant also. when you pass a variant, you have these options. Info is the default value, success, warning, and error. So this is gray, this is green, this is amber, and this is red. Okay, so what I have to do is I'll simply say my variant is success. The spelling should be correct. Okay, variant is success. Done. These are the three things that we have passed: message, variant, title, variant, and message. These are the three things we have passed. All right, let's say deploy. Deployed fine. Let's go back, refresh. I'll create a new account, green toast, create. You see now the message is green, a tick mark shows up, or your record is successfully created. Perfect. All right. Cool. It stays here and then it should actually go away maybe, or you can click on the cross icon. All right. Now, what else can you do with your toast messages? There's one more thing that I would like to talk about, which is the mode. So determines how persistent the toast is. By default, it is dismissible. It remains visible until you click the close button or 5 seconds have elapsed. So I'll just show it to you right now. Let me go back here and I'll say green toast again. I'll say create 1, 2, 3, 4, around 5 seconds. All right, I might have been a bit slow, but in 5 seconds it actually went away. We did not configure any of that. That's the default mode that comes in the platform show toast event, which is called dismissible. But let's say you want to actually keep it visible until and unless someone clicks on the cross icon. You have to make it sticky. Okay, so there are 3 modes available: dismissible, yeah, pester, and sticky. So in case of dismissible, it remains visible until you click the close button or 5 seconds have elapsed, whichever comes first. Pester remains visible for 5 seconds and disappears automatically, and no close button is provided. Whereas sticky will always remain until you click the close button. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the mode sticky here. And I'll say deploy. All right, I'll go back here, refresh my page, and I'll create a new account. Create. Right, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's going to stay here. Basically, it's not going away until and unless you click on the cross icon. That's the whole idea of sticky. All right, pester will basically stay for 5 seconds and then it will automatically go away. Dismissible has both options, 5 seconds or click on the cross button, whatever you want to do. Make sense? So I hope you are able to now do navigate the toast messages, notifications. This is how you normally notify people on a LWC component. The toast is your best friend in this case. All right. Now, what if there's an error? What would happen? You'll have to call another toast here. Correct. So for error, I'll create another toast. Show error toast. All right. I'll copy this entire thing, paste it here, and I'll say this time it is an error. I'll say something went wrong. Okay, and the variant should be red, so I'll say error. If you show green message with error, that's misleading. So you have to ensure that your color coding is perfect. Okay, and show error toast has to be called from here, so I'll say this dot show error toast bracket. Deploy. At a time only, either the then clause will run or the catch clause will run. So either this will be shown or this will be shown. Let's go back, refresh. Create. Your account record is successfully created. Only the green toast is showing, the red one is not showing. All right. Now, if there's an error, it will show up here. All right. What I would also want to do is, let's say you don't insert the account name on the field here and you say create. See, something went wrong. Your error message is showing, the catch block is showing something went wrong, error. This is your red message. Makes sense? I was able to show you both variants. Now I know there are some people who are already agitated that Himanshu, why did you create two methods? We can generalize, we can be smarter. Yes, I'll be smarter, but at this point in time. All right, cool. Now, the reason I created two methods here is because I had two different use cases, right? But does that really make sense? Would you have, different toast messages for every kind of message you want to show? Because let's say you are doing 10 or 12 actions in your one component. For every click, every button click, every action, wherever you want to notify, you'll have to have a show toast method. But that's, unnecessarily creating code, duplicate code. How about you created a method that could accept parameters? These parameters would basically be passed from the location from which you're calling. Instead of having it hard-coded here, hard-coded here, you could get rid of this entire thing, have this method, and pass in these 4 parameters from wherever you want to call. So for a scenario wherein it is success, the title is going to be success. The message is going to be your account has been created. The third parameter is variant. The variant should basically be brand, or sorry, I mean success. And then the mode should be sticky. Perfect. The same thing can actually be reused here. Instead of success, I'll say error. The variant should basically be error. It should also be sticky, and I'll say something went wrong. Please contact system admin. All right, and all I have to do is, I don't want to keep this static here. I map it with the variable that I have. Message comes here, variant comes here, mode comes here. And just like that, you've reduced certain lines of code. You have now become a bit smarter, and you are able to use the same method from multiple places. All right, and what you can also do is concatenate information. Something went wrong, please contact system admin, space, I can also put the error here. So I'll just put the error, save. So the message will contain what exactly the error was. Let's deploy and let's give it a check if still things work as expected or not. Okay, let's go back, refresh, click on create. It says something went wrong, undefined. Actually undefined because there's no result that has shown up. It did not even create an account, so there's no proper handling. Instead, what we can do is here on the top, I can put a null check. If this dot account name, if it exists, only then go ahead and do this. Correct? You are only going to create an account if a name has been provided, or else why would you do it? Correct? But if it is not provided, I can use this same show toast method and say, please enter account name. Same message with different variants. All right, I'll say deploy. Waiting for it to deploy. Done, refresh. And you see this toast was sticky because I did not remove it. Let's click on the create button now. It says please enter account name. Much more readable for the end user. Okay. Don't come and tell me that we can put a required check here. The tutorial is for the toast. So I'm just showing you variants and explanations. And now I'm going to go ahead and say a new account, right? Let's say Yellow Bridge. Create. And it is created and I get a proper message. I can click on this X and close it. Awesome. Cool. So I hope the idea of toasts in terms of notifications is understood. Put a comment that toasts make sense, and try to create a component similar to this. This will help you refresh your imperative calls, and you can put this code anywhere. Now with just one line of import and a method, you are actually able to do any kind of notifications anywhere in your code. Perfect. Awesome. I can now get rid of the console.logs to clear things up. Looks very neat. Let's say deploy one more time, and I'll just go ahead and say toast notifications, and I'll just deploy everything, commit everything to my GitHub. So if you want the code, you have the GitHub available. All right, great. That's all I wanted to cover as part of the toast notifications. And what we'll talk about next is navigation. See you in the next one. Bye.